welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be an update on my Ancestry test. So I've done at least 2 videos on my Ancestry results. I did one with my boyfriend and I a few years ago where we talked about our Ancestry, the Ancestry.com DNA test. And then I did one where I compared my mom and I's. So basically Ancestry has come up with a update. And so the update was kind of like a shocker because it was kind of like an update. Like, what the heck? Like, I thought what we had was what we had. But they've narrowed down and have gotten more information on certain countries, so they're able to tell you more, a little bit more about yourself. Some of it I would say is a little more accurate, but at first it's kind of like I kind of got used to what I thought my results were. But I guess it's just more of a breakdown. Something's completely changed, so I'll go into it of what I had before. So this is the map of where I had before, mostly African, Native American, and European. I had like 1% of like Asian or something like that. The ethnicity estimate breakdown was I had 34% Nigerian. So I thought I was Nigerian. I was like, oh, I gotta get some Fulani braids, okay? Like, I'm Nigerian, all right? And then I'm 13% Ivory Coast and Ghana, 7% Senegal, 6% Benin Togo, 6% European West, 4% Native American. Now the Native American was interesting because I have a lot of Native American in my family, like direct Native American. The next one is low confidence regions. 7% Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal. I was a little surprised about how low that was because my father is of Portuguese descent, so I thought I would have more. But my father is Cape Verdean and Portuguese, so full-blooded Portuguese from Portugal, and then Cape Verdean, like, which is African Portuguese mix. It's kind of like a Dominican is African and Spaniard mix, kind of like that with Native. It's like Cape Verdean's like that, but with Portuguese. So I was a little surprised by the Iberian Peninsula, but I mean, 7%, whatever. Africa, Eastern Bantu, 5%. Great Britain, 4%. Cameroon, Congo, 3%. Scandinavian, 3%. African, South Central hunter-gatherers, 2%. Mali, 1%. Ireland, Scotland, Wales, 1%. Africa North, less than 1%. And then European East, less than 1%. Finland and Northwest Russia, less than 1%. Asia South, less than 1%. And then my communities or my like regions, I got Portuguese Islanders and then Mid-Atlantic Coast African Americans. So the Portuguese Islanders, obviously the Cape Verdean aspect of my dad's side. And then the Mid-Atlantic Coast African Americans is from my mom's side. My mom is from that area. And yeah, so that was my old percentage, just to give you a update recap of what I had before. So now I'm going to compare and contrast the two. So here's my map now. As you can see, I have way more colors on this map than I did before. You see I got some Asian over here. I got some Native American. I got some European, African. And yeah, so it's a lot more going on, right? They narrowed it down some. So to start with the next one. So I have 34% Cameroonian. It increased by 31% because in the last one, I only had 3%. How do you go from 3%, 34%, and then my Nigerian completely is gone? My Nigeria, it pretty much replaced Nigeria because my Nigerian was 34% and now my Cameroonian is 34%. So I'm guessing they like made a mistake and mixed up the regions, and I'm not actually Nigerian. I'm actually Cameroonian in Congo, which is interesting. I'm Congolese. Is that what they call them? Yeah. Benin Togo, 26% and increased 23%, which is interesting because my mom got a lot of Benin Togo in hers. And my mom's an artist, she's a sculptor, and she was telling me how a lot of Africans used to tell her she must be from Benin descent because they're known to be sculptors, like really really good sculptors. And my mom's a sculptor, so they were saying she got that gene from being a Benin Togo person or of descent of Benin Togo people. So I'm an artist too. I don't sculpt like my mom does, but now I have a Benin Togo percentages because before I didn't have like a lot of it. Before, my Benin Togo percentages was 6% and my mom had like 34, and I was like, how did you have 34 and then I had 6? Like, so now I have more, so that's interesting. Great Britain is 10%, so that's interesting because my Great Britain before was 4%, so it went up a few percentages, the Great Britain or whatever, which I'm not surprised by. My mom's maiden name is Bagwell. Bagwell is a English and Irish last name. I knew already that that was from like probably slavery and the slave last name and all that. So I knew that. Okay, next is Mali, 5%. Before, I didn't really have any Mali. I had like less than 1% Mali or 1% Mali, and now I have 5% Mali. And the Native American decreased by 1%, so now I'm even less Native American. Still more Native American than the average black person. So then the next one is Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. I'm 2%. Before I guess I was 1% before. Yeah, I was 1% before, so I increased. Okay, next one is Sweden. 2%. Sweden, it was refined from Scandinavia, so I'm actually not Scandinavian anymore, I guess. My family's from Sweden, and it's 2%. Iberian Peninsula was what I was before. Iberian Peninsula is Spain and Portuguese, or Portugal. So my Portuguese stayed at 7%, and my Spain is 2%. So my Iberian Peninsula was refined from, it was 7% Iberian Peninsula, and I guess it went up because now my Spaniard is up 2%, so that makes a total of 9% Iberian Peninsula. And then the next is Germanic Europe, which is 1%. That was refined from European West. And okay, so Asia South is 1%. Asia South basically means India. So I know from my grandfather's mother's mother, her family is from Yugoslavia. They were black Indians, like Indians from that lived in Yugoslavia and were not slaves and came to America. So that's what I think the Indian or South Asian came from. That's what I think. Then I have 1% Filipino. That's crazy. My mom, hers update got 1%, 1 or 2% Filipino. So I know that the Filipino came from her side of the family. But I'm like, who's Filipino? Who's Asian? Now, there is a trait on my grandmother's father's side where they have chinky eyes, like slit, chinky Asian eyes. They look Asian. And so it could be that, or it could just be the Mali, because Mali Africans do have chinky eyes and high cheekbones. I don't know. The trait could come from African side. It could come from this 1% Asian side. I don't know, but it makes me wonder. Also, too, Filipinos, before the Spaniards came and occupied, they were natives and they were black. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. Then I have 1% Southeast Asia or Thai, 1%. So I'm part Thai. Like, what? That's crazy. And I think that's from my father's side because my mom didn't get Thai at all. She got the South Asian and she got the Filipino, but she didn't get the Thai. So I'm guessing the Thai must have come from my father's side. And I'm trying to figure out who the hell is Thai on my dad's side. It's weird. And then 1% Sardinia, which is is an island off the coast of Italy. So I think that's from my dad's side because my great grandfather is from Portugal, and my grandmother always used to tell me how he spoke Italian and Portuguese. So she said he wasn't Italian, but he spoke Italian fluently. And I mean, obviously people in Europe, they speak multiple languages very easily because they're so close together. But it just makes me think, that's the only thing that I could identify as the Sardinia, the Italian. I'm thinking maybe it came from his side. So other than that, I don't know who else it could have came from. For my communities or my regions, obviously Portuguese Islanders is still there. That's the Cape Verdean aspect on my dad's side. And then the Mid-Atlantic Coast African Americans is still there, but they narrowed it down to Delmarva Peninsula African Americans, which I found to be so crazy because my grandfather's family is very well known in the Eastern Shore part of Virginia and Maryland. His family is from Accomack, Virginia, which is a small area on the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay in Virginia, and that is what that peninsula is. That peninsula is the Delmarva Peninsula. So basically I took on my mother's father's genes, or it's showing up clearly in my mother's father's genes. My mom got it too, but my mom got other traits too. She got like traits from her mother's side, which was like North Carolina and different other African American communities and stuff like that. I didn't get those. So I got half my mom, which was my grandfather, and then I got my dad. So I thought that was really cool. And then it says no longer an estimate. Obviously, as I mentioned, Nigeria, the 34% Nigeria turned into 34% Cameroonian, 7% Senegal, no longer Senegalese. African Southeastern Bantu, 5% is gone. African South Central hunter-gatherers, 2% is gone. Africa North is gone. European East is gone. And Finland, Northwest Russia is gone. I think these aren't like necessarily gone, but I think they just narrowed down the regions more definedly. So like, for instance, like Europe East turned into German. Like instead of 1% Europe East, it's now 1% German, you know? So yeah, so that is my update of my ancestry test. I don't want this to be crazy long, but I found it really interesting. Especially like the Asian aspect. It's funny because, like we always used to talk about that one side of my family that has very, very, very chinky eyes. I'm like, oh, they got that Asian look or whatever. Even though I know that Asian look can be African traits too. But it's just funny that I ended up having 3% total of Asian in me. It's just like, what? And I remember growing up, people used to ask me, I don't think I have Asian eyes. I actually have almond shaped eyes. But growing up, people used to ask me, you're from Malaysia? I'm like, Malaysia? They're like, yeah, you look Malaysian. You have like a Malaysian look, even though I don't have Malaysia on here. It's just interesting to see certain things that I guess people see in you show up in your DNA. It's like, oh, okay, you saw that. But also try to keep in mind that certain traits aren't just like, I guess, exclusive to some cultures. I try to keep that in mind too, because I hate when people try to say like, oh, I look like this, when it's like that trait isn't exclusive to that one, like that one region or that one area or country. It's, you know what I mean? So yeah, but it's all interesting. Basically I'm like 74% African, 24% European, now 3% Native American. It was 4% Native American, and 3% Asian. That's pretty much like the sum of it. I'm pretty sure I'm off by maybe like 1 or 2 percentages or whatever for some of them, but that is the gist. So I'm a little bit less than 3/4 African, a little less than 1/4 European, I'm 3% Asian, and 4% or 3% Native American. So yeah, that is that. That is my update for you guys. Something's changed, something's just narrowed down. I would do my boyfriend's, but I think he should do his own. His did change too. He got like Israelite, like his was interesting. He got Israelite, Hebrew, and he got like Kenyan, and he got like Turkey. He got, his is interesting. So it's like, whoa, like okay. And he got more Native American. His Native American went up a lot. And yeah, so I'm not surprised because I know his family and all that, so I'm not surprised by those. I'm surprised his Jamaican didn't show up because his father's Jamaican, so I would think that that would show up in regions, but that hasn't shown up, only the Puerto Rican has. So yeah, but anyway, that's it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.